All right, guys, welcome back to Unlocked. I'm so excited to have on, really, you're my first guest outside of my family.
Really?
Yes, you are.
Whoa.
I know.
Well, I'm technically family, right?
Yes, it's Justin Anderson. For those that don't know, first off, he's the best follow on social media. So you really are. You're my favorite follow. And also founder of DPQ, which I'm obsessed with.
Thank you.
Like obsessed. The apple cider vinegar rinse. Literally everyone in our household uses that now.
I love it. It's so good for your hair. I mean, it's like the best way to not shampoo your hair. We can get into all the products stuff later.
We'll get into, sorry, I'm obsessed.
A little sidetrack. I appreciate that though.
And two, you were on Very Cavallari.
Yes, Very Cavallari with my best friend, Kristen Cavallari. That's why it's called Very Cavallari.
She's so cute.
I love we've been friends for, ever, over 20 years. And she's my best friend. So how did
y'all meet?
We met, so we both grew up in Southern California, and I started doing hair at a young age. And Kristen came in to me to get her hair done. Like she was like 17, like right when she was finished with Laguna Beach. And at that point I was doing different celebrities, but Kristen came in, and to be honest, like I was like, oh, she can be such a bitch, like coming right off of like MTV's Laguna Beach, and I wasn't prepared to even give her the time of day, in the sense that I'm like, we're not gonna be friends, like whatever. We hit it off in the first time we met each other. It felt like we knew each other forever. And the thing that stood out to me is she was like the most like, because I worked with every celebrity. At that point, I was just starting off, so I worked with a handful of celebrities. But the thing that stood out to me about her is she was always on time, and for being like a crazy 17-year-old and like being Kristen Cavallari at the time in the MTV world, she was always on time, super respectful, like she was just the coolest person ever. So we hit it off, felt like we were siblings, and then all these years later, we're still best friends.
I will say, you talked about being on time. I was so nervous today. I was like, I gotta be on time. I can't be late.
I'm huge on being on time. That's like my biggest thing. One reason for me is I get super anxious if I'm running late to anything. So I hate being anxious. Like I'll avoid everything to not be anxious. So I'm early to everything. And then doing hair, I always had to be on time, in the salon.
So I went on Instagram and I asked a lot of questions too beforehand, just to see what people would like. And it was funny because you and I talked about before we came on how people just assume you and I are like best friends. Like it's the weirdest thing.
No, it was funny. I was just telling you before we started the podcast. It's because I was doing celebrity hair in LA for so long, like I have a connection to all kinds of celebrities and I'm friends with a lot of them. But it's so funny. Like there's certain people on social media that people will kind of latch onto. I'm really big at going on Instagram Live. I love popping on there and like talking to people.
We know.
I enjoy it so much. But every time I'm on there, like everyone's like, talk about the Chrisleys. What about Savannah? And they're like obsessed with it. I'm like, of all the people that you guys could ask about. So
literally, it's
here
like
we are.
You've got Jennifer Aniston you can ask about, and you ask about us. I'm like, it makes no sense.
So
to
there's some connection there. I don't know what it is. But.
And two, so your Instagram is known for, I feel like you have healthy controversy.
I like that, a healthy controversy.
You say things that cause people to think. And you're never hateful towards someone. It's just like, hey, this is how I feel. Maybe try thinking the way that I think and you would understand it.
Well, because thank you for saying that, kind of, right? You're controversial. Thank you.
But it's in a healthy way.
No, in a healthy way. And I'm very, very, that's who I am in person. So if I'm going to be on social media as much as I am, I want to be myself on social media. And I've really noticed that like we live in this time where like people don't want to have back and forth conversations, right? Our country is basically 50-50 on everything, right? But we have certain people who are really loud and they control the narrative. And that kind of bums me out because first of all, I don't think change ever happens that way. It just creates more
divide.
More divide. And so like if I have any sort of following on Instagram, like I want to treat it like we're all at dinner together. And like I have friends from all walks of life and I will sit with them at a table and I'll listen to people's opinions and like I like to learn from it. And even if I completely disagree with them, even at a table, I'll be like, oh, but have you ever thought of it this way? And even if it doesn't change their mind, or even if they end up changing my mind, we can still be friends. And I don't understand why we don't do enough. But here's the thing. Anybody listening at home that wants to get mad about me saying this right now, because people love to be like, well, that's a really privileged way to think or whatever. And I get all of those arguments that you want to say, but I genuinely believe in my heart that like we need to have more conversations to actually come together or to have any sort of growth. And so that's why I'm on Instagram. Deal with it for real.
And too, that's one of the things I've said on another podcast of mine. I was like, of course we're going to be tone deaf and ignorant to certain things that we maybe haven't dealt with. So you can't expect someone to act a certain way when maybe they haven't gone through that themselves.
Right. And for me, I can admit there's a lot of things that I still want to learn about. So a lot on Instagram, I'll ask questions and I put the little Instagram thought bubble there and I read all of the response. Like, I want to learn from people. I also want to see where people's minds are at. I grew up in Southern California, lived in the Los Angeles area my entire life. My whole career was Beverly Hills, working with all these celebrities, and I was in the thick of Hollywood, right? And it always drove me crazy because it's an echo chamber there. Everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone's agreeing with the same thing. And whether or not I agreed with everything they were saying, I still wanted to hear other opinions. I wanted to see what the confusion was outside of LA. So moving to the South, I live now in Nashville full time. I've lived here over 3 years now. And it's been eye-opening to me to really just be around different types of people. And I feel like that's the problem with New York and LA and Dallas and Chicago. We have all these big cities, but they're all so different. But then we're all connected by Instagram and we're supposed to understand each other and agree. And I got to this place where I read a lot of comments on celebrity friends of mine or people who have a really big following. I like to go through and see what the comments are. And I'm like, everyone's hateful. And they're hateful because they don't feel heard or they don't feel understood. Yeah. And so I don't know. I miss conversation.
And too, that's one of the things. I went on my parents' Instagrams whenever all this legal stuff started happening and I just turned off their comments.
Smart.
Because I was like, they're not going to know how to do it and they're not going to do it. So I'm going to take it upon myself to go and turn off the comments. And it's like, if they follow you, you can comment, but if they don't, then you're out. Because I was like, it's not someone voicing their opinion isn't worth someone else's mental health.
No. And the other thing about that, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, you're hiding something if you hide your comments. Or no, it's protecting yourself. It's called boundaries. I am really proud of people when they turn their comments off. I'm one of those people. I'll post a picture with a celebrity friend of mine that people don't like. And then in the comments, people start talking crap about that celebrity. And I just delete the comments because I don't want that person to see that. They get enough of that crap on social media. And then people start writing, they're like, you're deleting comments. And it's like, because you're an asshole. There's no reason to write about the way that somebody looks on a picture on my page that other people can do. And the other thing is my grandma follows my page. So watch your mouth. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. We've gotten so comfortable with being total assholes on social media. Would you say that in person?
No, that's the thing. And when people get a reaction, 9 times out of 10, they're like, I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
oh, I'm the king of that. I am the king of if somebody leaves a nasty comment, I'll delete it. And then I immediately DM them. I'm like, did you really want to say that? And what did you mean by that? And then they'll backtrack and sorry, blah, blah, the whole thing. But my thing is no, that's not anybody's right to just put up a nasty thing about someone. And we don't have to leave it there. People are like, why are you deleting comments? I can't do that. Yeah. I can't protect my space or protect people that I care about. And also those comments just breed more hate. So for me, not open to it.
If we can't come together, then get off my page.
And we can disagree. I love conversations.
But
and I
in
love
a healthy manner.
I love disagreeing with people. Oh no, I don't see it that way. And whatever. We can go back and forth all we want. But no, just the serious hate stuff, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's really weird.
I
think it's weird that we've accepted it. That's one thing I want to fight back on so much is it's you have to stand behind your words if you're going to write it on and so many people use these fake trolling accounts and all that kind of stuff. If somebody has a fake trolling account, especially, I delete and block all of them. It's
my
you
mom
can't show your face. Get
exactly. My mom was like, I've never gone to follow someone or to look at someone's profile to just go and say hateful stuff.
It makes
she was like,
no
I've never.
Sense. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But, and too, when it comes to Instagram, like we said, you'll talk about all the hot topics that are going on. And
I love a hot topic.
I know. And I love when you do because it really does. It encourages me to think differently or to even educate myself more on certain topics. And something that you talked about, what was it? During COVID, it was the big Mormon documentary that came out. There's
been so many of them.
I know.
There's a Mormon obsession right now.
There is. And And one of the questions that someone asked me was like, how to un-F your mind from the Mormon church.
So the reason that they're asking that probably with me in particular is I grew up Mormon. I grew up in a really big Mormon family. Both of my parents were raised Mormon. They came together. So I'm from a massive Mormon family. And it's funny because like all of my cousins and everyone is still Mormon, very much so, and they practice and everything. And a lot of my cousins will reach out to me and they're like, Justin, thank you so much for like being positive about the Mormon church and not bashing it. Cause I don't bash it. But here's the thing. I don't have a reason to. Like, I really feel like I am who I am because I was raised in that church. The Mormon church is all about like love and family and all that kind of stuff. There are a few things that are off, like in every religion. And so I don't feel the need to bash it. Everyone has this idea that like the Mormon church is like this wild cult or whatever. It's the nicest, most normal people ever. Polygamous is not Mormons. Latter-day Saints, the Mormons of now, they're not polygamous. They don't have multiple wives. They're the most normal people you've ever met.
And that's what I mean by people being like tone deaf or just ignorant to it. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh crap. But also, I feel like you meet one Mormon that like lives their life in a way that's not the Mormon church. And you're like, oh gosh. Because there was this guy that I knew, Mormon, his dad was sleeping with his mom's best friend in the Mormon church and like all these things.
Well, that's not like, Mormon. That happens in every church. That happens in every neighborhood. It's like, it's so funny too, because it's like, I'm a gay man. And so a lot of people will be like, Justin, how can you be gay and like not bash the Mormons or bash religion? I love religion. I understand the importance of religion. Do some people abuse religion? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there bad Christians? Yeah, there's good Christians, bad Christians. There's shitty Mormons. There's everything, But I think that at the core, the great thing about religion is it like gives you purpose. It gives you morals. Having a faith in something makes you a better person. So I really respect people's religions as long as they're good people.
And too, one of the things, because on Real Housewives of
Salt Lake City.
So, because people were asking me when it came to you about like your favorite housewife.
Oh, I'm a huge housewife fan.
Yeah, huge. I'm like, y'all, I really don't. Like, I cannot.
But Julie does, right?
I've watched, yes. My mom watches it. I've watched maybe a handful of episodes. But because I feel like if you don't start from the beginning, it's kind of hard to get it.
Once you get in, you're sucked in. So don't start it. My Scoot, we've been together for 8 years. And when we first got together, he was like, I will never watch that stuff. He's more obsessed than I am now. Like once you start watching, you become absolutely obsessed. So don't start.
So was the Real Housewives of Salt Lake, because were there Mormons on the show? Yeah,
there was Mormons on it, but they did the Bravo version of it. They're probably all Mormons, kind of like I'm Mormon. Like they were like the bad
casual.
Mormons. Yeah, casual Mormons, or they were ex-Mormons. But they all live in Utah, and Utah is Mormon, and so they live in that world. I have cousins of mine who are like upset about the way that they like portray the Mormon church. But no, some of them are Mormons, but they're bad Mormons. They're drinking and they're cussing and they're beating each other up on TV. And one of them is going to jail right now. Jen Shaw, she's throwing shoes off of a boat right now. So it's like they're bad Mormons.
Don't even, trust me. I've seen Jen Shaw and Chrisley way too many times together in the media recently.
Oh yeah, you guys have that connection right now.
Thanks, Justin. Yes.
You, Jen Shaw, Erica Girardi. It's been a big year.
It's been a big year.
Not you.
No, not me. Not me. But yeah, so okay, Real Housewives. Who's your favorite in like the whole franchise?
In the whole franchise, it's really crazy because it's like people get really heated about this stuff because I talk a lot about housewives, and I had to pull back a bit because like my DMs will go crazy, like people talking so much, like people get fired up. So let me be real careful here. But,
gosh.
Okay, I love Kathy Hilton right now. It's so hard for me because I love so many of them.
Justin, first off, I watched a few episodes of the Beverly Hills with Kathy Hilton, and I loved her when she pulled out that box fan. And will not go anywhere without the box fan. And I was in Dallas and I was staying at the Rosewood, and I called down and asked for a fan, and they brought up a box fan.
No.
And I took a picture of it, and I was like really channeling like my inner Kathy Hilton and tagged her, and she reposted it.
She's an icon. So I used to do Kathy's hair in LA and I absolutely love her. Like she's the greatest person ever. Like one of those clients that I had so much fun with in the chair. When I heard that she was going on Beverly Hills Housewives, I was like, oh my gosh, is she going to be able to like show her actual personality? Like I was kind of nervous. I was like, what if she hides who she really is? Because she's playful, she's funny, she doesn't take life that seriously. And she was herself. She lived up to it, you know? So she's one of my favorites, but then I also like her nemesis right now on the show. I think Lisa Rinna is fabulous TV. Like I love Lisa Rinna. People get so angry about that. But here's the thing.
Well, Lisa Rinna posted a few days ago or something on her Instagram story when this whole Balenciaga scandal came out and was like, she's not going to talk about that because there are more important things that we need to talk about, such as
more important than kids being whatever I don't know what we can say on the podcast.
I did. I've already discussed it because I was like,
I've done it too much. I think.
But that it really turned me off because I was like, this isn't a point in time to.
But you know what that is? It's and I'm not saying this anything mean, but it's like these people still want to be connected to fashion. They still want to have the ins to these things. They think if they say that, then the other fashion brands won't let them come to the show or all that kind of stuff. And it's like that in itself is gross, but that happens everywhere. It's disgusting. And I think everyone should call it Balenciaga. I'm disappointed in celebrities. There's very few times because I lived in that world for so long and I understand how a lot of it happens and it's not what a lot of people think Hollywood is outside of it. But with that particular thing, I think it's embarrassing that more celebrities didn't talk about it. And there's this weird ass thing that people made it seem like it was a conservative and a liberal thing. So like when I talked about it on social media, everyone was like, oh, you're such a conservative conspiracy theorist.
That's literally
like,
what people's comments were, like questions. Why don't you just tell us how conservative you really are?
See, it's
like, it has nothing to do with that.
No, everyone will make it about conservative and liberal all the time. But with a situation like the Balenciaga thing, I don't get how anyone couldn't just be absolutely disgusted.
And the fact that they filed a lawsuit against
which went away
the company,
now.
which went away, which they dropped, and they filed
because that was to get us to shut up.
Exactly. They filed a lawsuit just to get us to shut up by saying that they didn't see the images, they didn't know it was on the production company,
That's
whatever.
The biggest load of BS. I mean, you have been in this industry for a long time. I've been around all this stuff when my clients do it, all this kind of stuff. Everything is so approved. When I did Very Cavallari, they made me change my clothes all the time, you know, for like the interviews. Like these people know everything that is going on with everything, which like just like Lisa Rinna says, own it, like own the situation. I don't know. It's so weird. And it makes my stomach hurt because like, I know that people do this thing about the whole conspiracy theory thing. And they're like, and it just, then you're falling into the game because like that's what they want. That's what they want you to say to people who speak up. They want you to call them a conspiracy theorist so they'll shut up about it. Like we're talking about kids, you fucking weirdos. Like talk about it. Be like, that is so weird and we will never stand for that.
And too, it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't one little thing. It was all the hidden messages. No, it was, you even... Which this is going to sound very conspiracy theorist, but like you even researched the name Balenciaga and like what it means.
B-A-A-L. Yeah, hello. It's all of it is. But here's the one thing that I want to say about that, because I think some people find this conversation fascinating and we don't get to hear enough of it. So you'll hear it right here. There is this thing that there's so much gross stuff that happens in Hollywood, but there's also gross stuff that happens in every city in the country, right? Yeah. There's gross stuff that happens in politics and all that kind of stuff. The one thing about Hollywood, and I want this to change because I think it's starting to get gross, is there's so much shock factor. A lot of this stuff is done to get people talking like this because what does it do? Shit sells out. It's like a couple years ago. It's sad. Yeah, it's a couple years ago when Lil Nas X, is that his name?
Yes.
I love him. I love his music. But he sold these shoes with like blood in them, right? So they're supposed to be like
I remember
the devil shoes. All of a sudden, they talk about it on Fox News and church people start really like outraged about it. He sold out his shoes in like 3 hours. So it's like they know that if you get everyone screaming about it, it's going to create more buzz for the brand, which is sick.
It is.
But so a lot of this stuff is just shock value. Because people will say to me, they're like, Justin, why don't more celebrities speak out on this stuff? Like that means they're devil worshippers and they're disgusting, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I think they just all know that this is how they sell stuff. And that's when you're selling yourself to the devil.
And it is. And it's hard.
If there is a devil, I don't know what you believe.
And that's the hard part too, is though, you know, with being in this industry, with certain celebrities, like if you're not an A-list celebrity that's got millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank and you don't have to worry about pissing someone off, you know, versus a celebrity who's like B-list, C-list, whatever it may be, whose life depends on the next deal, then it's harder to kind of take a stand for what you believe in.
So you're saying that the people who have tons of money in the bank, they should take a stand? Because I agree. I think if more of them did, more other people would
cancel culture would easily go away. Because I feel like all of these people who, there was a big point in time with the whole Chrissy Teigen scandal. And, you know, which kind of just flew by whenever she had told the girl to, that whole thing. But there's been so many times where like she could step up in a positive manner and hasn't stepped up. And then it's always the celebrities that have, I don't know how I'm trying to say it. Like they have so much, but yet they keep quiet. And it's the ones who like, for me, like, my livelihood.
But then don't you feel like those same celebrities who keep quiet are the ones who demand everyone else to speak up when it happens with something that they don't necessarily agree with?
Yes.
And this is part of my conversation. I'm saying that like, I'm not going to sit here and pick a side right now or tell anyone. I want people to like have these conversations. I think cancel culture, I hate cancel culture. I feel like we all hate it. Like, who likes cancel culture? You know, there's a thing about accountability, but at a certain point, like, just take accountability, apologize, and then move on. Yeah. But when you hide from things and you don't speak up, of course, people are going to get outraged. But then the other way, people get canceled really, really fast. And I think that that's what's... we're tiptoeing around a lot, but I think we know what we're saying. I think
it's just like, for me, I'm going to speak personally. For me, it's like, okay, my livelihood, like we all know my whole world's like blown up in smoke. So my livelihood does depend on certain deals and certain things happening. And it's me speaking up about certain things could kill that, you know? And so then it's like, okay, I really want to stand up for what I believe in, but also I have bills to pay too, you know, which makes it really hard, which goes back to the cancel culture thing of, if you state how you believe and it's different than what we're telling you, then you're done. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays can be a really tough time between managing family dynamics, racing from thing to thing, and braving the cold and dark weather. It's normal to feel down. So this holiday season, I really hope that you do something special for yourself and give yourself a gift to raise your spirits and not just for the day. BetterHelp is absolutely amazing. I mean, the fact that you have someone to talk to about how you're feeling and what you can do about it is truly a gift. We all know I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I really don't know where I'd be today without it. Therapy has so many different benefits. I mean, I've learned new coping skills, how to set healthy boundaries, self-empowerment, dealing with trauma, and all the other things that just go on in life that get us down. So I really hope that you guys will try BetterHelp. This is the world's largest therapy service. BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, 100% online. Plus, it's extremely affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. And if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist at any time. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Savannah. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Savannah. SAVANNAH. So I'm kind of like taking questions that I've gotten and putting them into the conversation, but a lot of people asked your viewpoints on the whole Brittany Aldean, Maren Morris scandal that's happened. Because we know we're here in Nashville. Like,
we're here in Nashville. And again, that's like another one because it's like I follow Brittany Aldean and I follow Maren Morris. And friendly with both of them,
Yeah.
probably closer to Maren in the sense that like I see her at more things and whatever. But I like both of them. And so on social media, I follow both of them. So everyone was saying like, Justin, what do you think about the Brittany and Maren thing? And it's not that I'm afraid to speak up on it. It's just like, with that, that's their thing. And and since I am connected to them, it'd be weird. Like, I don't feel like I need to pick sides. I see where both of them thought they were coming from, you know? And so their followers can work that out. The one thing that I'll say is in all of these situations, because I do have an opinion about everything, but I don't want to be mean. And also I don't think that my opinion matters so much that I need to scream it all the time. That's the thing too. Like, who the fuck am I? You know, it's like I'm a hairdresser from LA, you know? So I don't want to scream things out. I want to talk, you know, I want to talk through these things. With that particular situation, they are both really nice people. And I know they're both really good people and their intentions are both in good places. For me, and a lot of people are going to get pissed off right now, I just like that Maren was standing up for people who needed to be stood up for. You know what I mean? Brittany's allowed to say whatever she wants, and people, maybe they took it the wrong way. Maybe Brittany didn't mean it, but I just like that Maren was sticking up for the underdog. And that's all I can really say about that, because that's who I am. If I see a bully getting bullied...
Am I right or wrong in the facts of it?
People are going to be so mad that I just said that, and I get that. But I'm telling you right now, I don't hate Brittany Aldean, you know, at all.
No,
but for me, it's, you
can have friends who believe completely different things and still be friends with both of them. Like, we don't have to be friends with people who just view things exactly how we view it. But with that whole thing, Brittany didn't start by saying anything.
Oh, you're trying to go into the facts and break it down.
She didn't technically direct anything at Maren to begin with, correct? She said something, then Maren stood up for...
Yes, right? And you're absolutely right. So that's the thing that I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These are two grown women who can do whatever they want. And I don't want to be the referee, and I shouldn't be the referee. But you're absolutely right. There was one thing said, but then it started getting media attention.
And it got mean. That was the thing on both ends.
Yeah, on both ends.
It just got mean.
But it started getting attention for what Brittany was saying. And then Maren kind of popped in and said her piece. And again, so at that point, I just go to the place of like, okay, they were both wrong in their own ways, or they were both right in their own ways. But I just liked that Maren's intention was standing up for a group that needs a little bit of help right now. Whether or not anybody too, by the way, anything, I don't have to agree with the group. If a group is getting bashed, I like people who stand up for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's who I've been bullied. I was bullied in junior high, you know, like I wanted people to stand up for me, you know? And so like, I always kind of root for the person who's protecting other people. But I'm not saying that either of them are wrong.
I love you.
Or right. But does that kind of make sense?
It does. I think at the end of the day, it's like you love two people and they're uniquely themselves, believe what they believe. You can understand why they both believe what they believe because of their backgrounds. And that's what I've said is if we could all come together and take a moment to understand someone's past and their history and maybe what causes them to think what they think and believe how they believe. So it makes a lot of sense. And it's not about choosing sides. It's just, we know in Nashville, it's crazy how that whole thing blew up.
Yeah, it was insane. And people were like demanding to know what you thought about it. You know, like I didn't even want to go on Instagram at that time. And even like going out to dinner and like everyone it's funny how TV, and you'll get what I'm saying, how the TV world so quickly intertwines with the music industry. Right. Being here in Nashville, like the people you've met and the people you've become friends with. And then it's like, okay, now there's this huge divide. People are having to choose sides. People are having... That's the part that's so weird to me. And I get it. There's going to be people that are listening right now who are like, I can't believe that he's not whichever side or whatever. But the thing that I'm really coming from a place of like, these are two humans. I just want to sit back and kind of like, what were their intentions? You know, Brittany had her intentions of protecting, and she's all about children, which I am too. And then Maren had hers of protecting a group of people and standing up for a group of people. So if you really step back for a second, take your fucking politics out of it, you know, and just look at these as two people and what their intentions were separately. Both of their intentions were they both had their own intentions, And I know that people are going to say, but Maren did the name calling and all that kind of stuff, and I get it. But you know, and that's, you know, and I think I think the whole
thing could have been approached in a different manner. And I think it would be really cool to see the two of them sit down.
I would love that.
Like sit down for a conversation and nothing that's hostile, nothing. It's just like, hey, this is where I was coming from. This is what I meant by it. You're allowed to believe what you believe. I'm allowed to believe what I believe. But like, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. Or I'm sorry on both sides. I think it could be, that's like where our world needs to get to where it's like, I don't agree with you.
The biggest thing that makes me sad about all that is I feel like that is just another case where we fed into the media BS. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is the purpose of the media, is to like put those headlines out so that we all have to scream at each other and pick a side. And that's why I come from a place like, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving into the media BS anymore. These are two people who thought they meant well. And so it's like, these are two humans. I'm not trying to be cheesy, but I'm like looking for the place where like we get along again and we sit down and we're like, wait, what did you mean by that? Because I didn't actually mean that. And then all of a sudden you're calling me this and like, I was thinking about like, have a conversation, and we all don't have to like jump on our sides and be like, they're disgusting. Or they're disgusting. And cut it out. It's weird.
I spoke about this previously, and it was, like my best friend Chad. So he's gay, and we were up at the corner pub like I would guess a week or two ago, and there's this like ex NFL player that was in there. He's an older guy. He was like a big quarterback. Oh, we're about to get on that one. But it was, so we're sitting in there, and he's older. It was a different day and age back then. There were different beliefs, different opinions, but we're sitting there and he started talking to Chad, and he was just being very intentional with his questions and was like, hey, I don't want you to take offense to this. Like, I really want to understand, and I really want to get to know like how you felt when you were coming out being gay and how like that impacted you. And I was sat there and I was just in awe, because I was like, this is really cool. Like, someone taking the time to ask and get to know someone instead of just, I don't know. It was really cool.
No, I have a lot to say about that, because I didn't experience that in LA. Everything's so open book there. And like, even that conversation in LA, people are like, how dare you even bring up this person's sexuality? And how dare you even ask them these questions? And it's like, how do we learn then? You know what I mean? Because I've met a lot of people here in Nashville, people who I really, really love, and they'll ask me questions like that, being like, hey, I don't want to offend you, but like this. And I'm like, nothing will offend me. If you don't know, and I might have the answer, if it's having something to do with like being gay or whatever it is, like, I'd love to talk about it. Like, let's get to the bottom of it. And I think that's part of the problem, is like people are afraid to ask questions now. And that's when we're in a really scary place. Like, we should be able to have conversations and ask questions. Otherwise, how the hell are we going to understand each other? And so I love that. Unless someone's sitting there and they're being facetious, or they're trying to be a dick. But like, people are curious and they want to learn. And like, I like people learning. I'll say in my neighborhood here, like, I'm for sure the only gay guy in my whole neighborhood. Like, I live in a very suburban part of Nashville, and like everyone is straight families.
And too, it was funny because whenever you and I were talking about like a new house for y'all, you were like, because I remember I had sent you one, and you were like, wait, you were like, that's too far out. Like, I don't think there's any gays in that area. You were like, I can't move any further from downtown than I already am.
But I, in my neighborhood, I feel like I like that. I like being like maybe the first gay friend that my neighbors have, and like, I hope they feel very comfortable asking me. And by the way, everyone's lovely and amazing. It's so funny. The biggest misconception, like when I was moving here, like friends in LA were like, you can't move to the South. Like, you're a gay man. I'm like, what are you talking about? And everyone was like, everyone has their idea of what the South is going to be like versus LA and everything. I have to say that like Nashville is diverse. Like, people hang out with each other here. It's an actual melting pot. LA, any of you bitches in LA that I love, and I'm not hating on LA, but LA is so separate. You go to a party in LA, everyone's white. You go to a Hollywood party, everyone looks the exact same or whatever. Like, everyone, like, there's black clubs, there's Mexican clubs, there's the white places, all that kind of stuff. Like, but here you see everything mixed together. And that's the truth. So true. Like, LA acts like it's so open-minded and everything, but everyone sticks in their little bubbles there.
I agree with that 100%. Like, when I was out in LA, it was so hard to fit in.
Yeah.
So hard to fit in.
No, LA, like you, it's a bizarre place. Like I said, I grew up there, so I like since I was a kid, but I always felt really sorry for people who just moved to LA because it's a tricky city, like really hard.
I remember like being in school, and it's actually really funny because the two nicest kids to me, like everyone, like people were just mean. And Christopher Schwarzenegger and Cameron Azoff were two, like the two.
Wait, what school did you go to?
To the Brentwood.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow.
And so we're the same age. So they were the two, like people would be so mean, and they were the two nicest
Well, they have really
people.
good parents. Like
Yeah.
they both have really nice parents.
But like, and two, you would never know, okay, who they are, what they have, none of that. And even to this day, like Cameron and I will go back and forth on Instagram. Well, like just the nicest two kids like I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I would say it was so refreshing because everyone else, like it was hard to fit in.
No, LA is interesting. I was the biggest like protector of California forever. Like I'd get so mad when people would talk crap about it or whatever. And so I don't ever want to like bash through it, but I got to a place where like it wasn't for me anymore.
It wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I did leave. And now that I don't live in LA, I see it in such a different way. But I think the problem with LA in a small nutshell is there's so much using going on, so nobody knows who to trust.
And it's how can I get
something
who can
from
I
you.
use to get to the next level?
Like everything about that city is like that.
Yeah.
And so that is never going to put off like a good vibe,
No.
especially to an outsider.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Or to somebody who doesn't have anything to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too. It's like the class system. I don't know what the exact words would be. Like it's very defined in LA. Like you're not mixing with it.
No,
Like,
it's like you're either at the top of the top or
right. Right.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like I love Nashville because it is so diverse.
Well, there's a lot of everything here,
Yeah.
you know, and I learn a lot about other types of people, and I really like that. And since I was a kid, was really just